Hi beautiful people, it's Rock and I have a unexplained 50+ pound weight gain finally explained. Some crazy stuff. If you want to check it out, keep watching.
Oh, you're back, huh? Where you been?
Yeah, I was in the hospital. I had this removed.
You had this removed, huh? Damn. Hey, you gonna eat this?
You want to eat what was removed from me?
Yeah, I love watermelon. Watermelon's my favorite.
Oh, and I know I don't normally do this type of video, but I really want to do this in case it could possibly help somebody and maybe open some eyes and bring light to something that is maybe not spoken about enough. I want to bring my experience in the hopes that it will help somebody out there. If you've been following me on Instagram and YouTube, I do mention that, have been going through some health issues recently, and I go more into detail on some posts on Instagram. So some of you may have already seen this. Now, if you're just here for hair and, hair entertainment, I appreciate and love you. If you want to skip this video, I understand. It ain't for everybody, okay? But chances are you are, or you know somebody who's been affected by this. So if it ain't you, it's for sure somebody you know, I promise you. And that's not something I wish on anybody, but the reality is this is how stuff is, okay? So let's get into it. So for a few years, I grew this stuff, fibroids, endometriosis, endonemosis, whatever. So I recently had surgery. Actually, it was about 12 days ago. I had surgery on September 22nd, 2017. And I had a TAH, a total abdominal hysterectomy. I had everything removed, including ovaries. I know that's scary. It had to be done. Okay. Anyway, here are some pics of my hospital stay. So they removed fibroids, endometriosis. I also had a hernia. Probably because the fibroid was pushing my abdomen out so much that it broke through my abdominal wall. The thing that they removed from my abdomen was the size of a watermelon. Yup. Now, just imagine walking around, take a watermelon and put it under your shirt and walk around and just see how life would be living like that. It was really terrible. And, I'm looking back at it now, and I really was hesitant to talk about it too much during the process, because at that point it was just a problem, my personal problem. I want to speak about it now because after the fact, I know more about it. I can speak from experience, and maybe I can help somebody who's going through the same thing. And it caused me to gain weight. I'm not one to weigh myself, but I'm estimating 50+ pounds because I went from wearing a size 10 to not being able to button up a size 16 jeans. Like, that's how bad it got, okay? Even though I was eating super healthy 85% of the time and working out consistently, sweating, getting my heart rate up. I don't weigh myself. That's not how I go by. I go by clothing. But I did go to the doctor before my surgery and after my surgery, and my doctor said that I lost 12 kilograms, which is equivalent to, I think, about 25, 26 pounds. And I lost that immediately. Okay. Now, watermelon-sized fibroid, that included my uterus and all that. I don't know the weight of that. I asked my gynecologist the other day, and they don't have the weight of it. They're going to get that information for me in the next couple of weeks, probably in 5 or 6 weeks. So, but did it weigh 25 pounds? That's very possible. Now, what about, this video is 50+ pound weight gain. So there's the weight of the actual fibroid, right? And the surrounding materials. You have to also consider hormone fluctuation, which causes weight gain and weight fluctuation. And there's also inflammation. Like right now, I am less than 2 weeks from my surgery. And I'm still very, very swollen now. So when I was weighed and they found out that I lost about 25 pounds, I was super, super swollen. So I'd imagine once the swelling goes down, some of the other excess weight will also go. If you see in my videos, my weight would fluctuate. Sometimes I'm more swollen than other times. Sometimes I'd be super, super puffy. And sometimes I would be, drawn out a little bit. So things would fluctuate. But in the past, I'll say 5 years, my weight just went up. Even though I was eating right 85-90% of the time and working out almost every day, if not 5 days a week, I noticed that I would just keep putting on inches. Okay. And I don't live and die by the scale because that's caused me problems in the past. So I go by clothes, by how my clothes feel. So technically, I've always been overweight. And for me, when I'm overweight, my waist is 26.5 inches. I'm super healthy. I've been vegetarian or vegan most of my life, 20 years this year. So, not to say I didn't have my share of junk food, but it was just odd that I just kept putting on inches. Okay. So my body shape is I'm pear shape, which is considered thick. I'm a thick person. Okay. Wide shoulders, narrow waist, wide hips, thick thighs. That's my body type. All of a sudden in the past 5 years, I went from pear shape to apple shape. And even though I was exercising and eating super healthy, I kept putting on inches and I kept putting on pounds. Now, I'll give you an idea. I would wear size 10 comfortably. And then up until my surgery, size 16 was tight on me. Okay. When you see me head on, you can't necessarily tell, but my stomach would start to get bigger. And when I turned to the side, I had like a pouch here. It's gone down because I've had surgery, but from the front view, you can't necessarily see how big I was getting unless I was super bloated, which I would go in and out of bloating episodes, I call it. But when I turned to the side, you could see my stomach was completely sticking out. Okay. The notion of calories in, calories out was no longer applying to me. Okay. So things just weren't right. There's so many problems that women have to deal with, okay? And this does cause unexplained weight gain. Now, people are going to say, well, it's calories in, calories out, right? You eat this many calories, you burn this many calories, and, you should lose this much weight and you should be doing this, okay? If you're dealing with fibroids, PCOS, endometriosis, any of those things related to the uterus, calories in and calories out might not necessarily be applied to you. Okay? Because ultimately, hormones is what controls body fat. It does. Okay? So when you are exponentially growing in this area, basically your life gets hijacked. Your life gets hijacked, your metabolism gets hijacked, and each person can experience something different, but ultimately it's a tumor. It's a tumor that your body doesn't like, that your body will struggle with. Like 1 in 10 women have endometriosis. I happen to be one of the 10, 1 in 10. And 7 out of 10 women get fibroids. That's Caucasian women, and women of color, 8 out of 10 women get fibroids. A lot of people get fibroids. Why do some people have theirs blown up like a balloon and others don't? I don't necessarily have the answers to that. And doctors, as well as I've done research, there's no clear indication to why it blows up on some people and why others it just stays manageable. Okay. And my guess is processed food, the environment, toxins in the environment, GMOs, diet sodas, fake sugar. I think these, in my personal opinion, play a huge role in the fibroids growing so big to the point where it becomes unmanageable in your life. Hormones affect your weight gain. You can also check your thyroid as well. these things affect women's weight. If you already have a slow metabolism to begin with, you know, you're putting problem on top of problem. And one of the big stresses that I had the past couple of years is I moved from California back to Canada. And I really think that the stress of that caused my fibroid to blow up even further. You know, like, I'm a pretty zen person, so the stress had to go somewhere, and it formulated into that. That's my feeling. Some of the symptoms of having crazy large fibroids is you will have a lot of bleeding on your period, like weeks and months of bleeding, continuous, to the point where you need a blood transfusion and iron infusion, which is exactly what happened to me before I got the surgery. Now, this is the only graphic part, so if you're squeamish, just look away for like 10 seconds and it'll be done. This is my incision. I had an 8-inch vertical abdominal incision from above the belly button to the pubic bone. And I am wearing a compression garment. And this one is about the compression grade of like an Under Armour shirt. So it's not super, super tight or constricting, because imagine you have an abdomen and you take out something the size of a watermelon and you sew it back up. There's a gap there, okay? So I'm wearing the compression so that my scarring tissue doesn't heal with a big gap. You know, I'm putting everything in there and, you know, just hoping for the best, right? So I'm starting to feel like myself since having it removed. And, you know, if you're noticing that you're gaining weight, but you're eating healthy, and, you know, you're being conscious of your calories, but somehow you just keep gaining weight, get the MRI, get the ultrasound. This might be something that affects you. 50-pound weight gain, 50+ pound weight gain, unexplained. And if you know somebody who, for some reason, they can't lose weight, or they're gaining weight and they're doing all the right things, tell them about it. Look into getting an MRI and an ultrasound to see if they have fibroids to a massive degree. Okay. Also check for endometriosis, because ultimately hormones is what affects your weight, whatever your metabolism is. Okay. You know, just because you're having unexplained weight gain, continue to eat right, continue to eat clean, and exercise and drink plenty of water. Don't give up. Don't get depressed. Look into your situation. I know this is something different, but I'm putting it out there in the hopes that it will help somebody. I'm usually a pretty private person about my personal life, but I am putting it out there in case somebody is out there and are just completely racking their brains. You know, this might be something that you want to look into. Any comments and questions, leave them below. And if you are going through this, I pray for you. I send good vibes your way. I send good healing energy your way. If it could shrink naturally, I pray for that for you. If not, there's other ways to go through and get rid of it. And that's the reality. You know, I hope that this helped you. If you got something out of it, please give me a thumbs up. Stay beautiful. Thanks for watching.